Well, the 20th hour is officially over. I cannot say enough about our staff and the great job that they did recruiting. And you think about it, where we were in November, December, to where we are right now, and it's just a total effort that they put into it. But anytime you go out and recruit and you get the players on campus, then our players are the ones who become the key sellers. And our guys did a great job of selling this program. And what a lot of recruits want to know basically is, how is Coach Strong? What's his, what's his personality like? What's Coach Bedford personality like? What's Coach BJ? And they did a great job of just getting them out, getting them around town, letting them just see the city. And then I think about on Saturdays when some of our professors here just gave up their day to come out and just talk about academics and just really sell this program. So it not only from the athletic side, but just the total university side, the great job that they did, and just everyone just joining in, knowing that what we had to get accomplished during this recruiting season. And I look at our needs, we were able to just fulfill our needs at each position, and just offensively, when we know that we needed a quarterback, and to go and get us a quarterback and get him to change his commitment. And I think about our offensive line, and the offensive line, 4 of the linemen are on campus right now. And we had a 5:30 workout this morning. It was just good to just see some of them just run around in the way they're moving. And there was a position last year that we didn't have much depth, and now we're able to just add depth to that position. And the wide receiver position, you think about it, you have some of those guys that are just long and athletic, and you want the height outside so when the ball goes up that we can win outside. And then the running back position, you got a big, powerful back, and then you have 2 guys that are just has enough speed and quickness where they can get outside. And I just look at it offensively, we were just able to just go out and get the players that we needed on offense. And defense, we always talked about linebacker position, and we talked about the secondary. And then just get Malik here. And I made a statement earlier in December, and I said that anytime you're in a recruiting process, there's got to be a player, and there's got to be a marquee player. And that was Malik Jefferson for us. When he jumped on board, it got us jump started. And now with him getting the program jump started, he was able to just sell the programs. But then there were recruits that are kind of sitting on the fence, that when they saw Malik jump on board, then it was some of them jumped on board, and then the ones that were kind of just, not trying to make a decision of where they wanted to go, then he was able to just sell the program. They were able to call him because so many players respected him and just knew exactly who he was. And then I think last week with those 2 corners making their commitment here was big for us, because you look at those 2 players, 2 of the 2 best players within this state. And then with the defensive line, we were able to go out and get us some defensive line that would add some depth to us. But just overall, when you look at this group, you look at where they came from, I think it's 19 within the state, 7 or 8 out of state. But this will always be our background. This will always be our foundation. The state of Texas will always be our foundation. And we'll always know this, that we will recruit this state, and all our players are going to come from this state. But anytime we go outside the state, it has to be about relationships. And you look at the state of Florida. When I was an assistant coach at the University of Florida, Miami was an area that I recruited, so I knew a lot of those coaches down there, already had a relationship with those coaches in Miami, so it wasn't very hard to sell when we went in to sell our program. And then you look at us going to get Kai, me and Mike coached together at the University of Florida, along with Coach Wickline. You look at Johnson coming in. His father was a great player here coming out of California. Garrett Thomas, we knew about Garrett, had some friends there within his community. And then with Hodges, Coach Wickline's wife actually grew up in Aberdeen, Mississippi. So when we went in to see him, we had to go there to the fire station and be able to tell some stories. But this will always be, we know this, the state of Texas will always be our home ground. We will always build it from this state. Great high school coaches in this state, but that's what it's all about. But we will always know this. Anytime we need to go out of state and we can get into battles, I don't mind going outside the state to get in a battle. That's what it's all about. That's what recruiting is all about. We knew we were not going to back down. And you look at it, we took it all the way up to the last day. A lot of times within the program, we have seen it where they've already, a lot of these guys had already just made their commitments and it's filled up, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of different ways to do things, but I just like to just continue to battle till the end. And I know this, it made a lot of you guys, it made it exciting for you because you're able to just write each and every day. It didn't get very boring for you, but but no, it was just a total team effort from everyone involved, and it was just so great to just see the way we ended with this class. And I think many of the top players in this state, we were able to get them on campus, and just to sell our program, to sell who we are, what we're all about. And it's the recruiting process. It always starts early, but you always remember this signing date is always the first Wednesday in February. So you just got to battle until then. You got to continue to try to hold on to what you got. And if there's someone else out there that you want to try to go get, you have that opportunity to go get them.
You have a question? Raise your hand. Start up front with Brian.
Charlie, going back to Malik for a second, when you walked off the field, off the TCU game, did you know we have got to get Malik? And then what was your attitude, and how did it give you guys juice to keep going once the state's #1 recruit said yes?
Well, not only that game, you think about it, it's a lot of players that we needed to go get there. When I lost that game, I said, oh, God, how many do we need? But Malik was big for us. And like I said, it's just that marquee player. And anytime you have a marquee player that can get you jump-started, and I made a comparison, I think, to Tim Tebow when we were at University of Florida. It was Urban's second year. We're going into our second, just like we are right now. And we got teams that make that commitment. It was between us and Alabama. Then here comes Spikes that jump on board. Percy Harvin jumps on board. Riley Cooper jumps on board. You get all those guys that start jumping on board when one guy makes that decision.
On your right, Anwar.
Coach, I think by my count that you guys were able to get 9 guys who committed to other schools that eventually come here to Texas. So what were you guys able to do so successful as a staff once guys said, I'm going somewhere else, to get them back interested in Texas?
Well, what's always key is try to get them back on. If they had not been on campus, to get them on campus. And those that had been on campus, you just had to continue to recruit them and continue to just sell what we had. And it is so much to sell here. You have great academics. You have an athletic program. You have resources. You have so much going on. And that's why I say it was a total team effort. And, I just think about like Newsom, and I tell a story, and it's kind of a funny story, but I don't know if you want me to tell it, but he has no choice right now. But it was a week ago last Thursday night, 1:30 in the morning, he calls me and says, Coach, I'm coming. I said, all right. I said, you sure? He said, yes, I'm coming. So he was going to make his announcement the next day. So the next day at 10:30, I get a call, and he says, well, Coach, I'm kind of confused right now. I don't know what I'm going to do, but you'll know when I have my when I stand up to have my little press conference. I said, okay, that's fine. So he goes to the podium and he announces UCLA. And so I said, wow. So then, we kind of sat on it for a day or two, and I said, you know what, let's just sit on for a day or two, and I give him a call when the opportunity, when I think it's the right opportunity. So then we make a phone call to him, and he said, you know what, Coach, I'll open it back up. I said, okay. So then last night he calls me, and last night it was midnight. I said, okay, now we're an hour and a half earlier. Are you sure this is what you want to do? And he said, yes, Coach. And I said, are you sure? Now, no, don't wake up tomorrow morning and say, Coach, I'm not sending you the paper. I'm sending it somewhere else. But no, it was just great because his family was good. But, sometimes we sometimes forget that they're 17 and 18 and they make a decision. But if you just keep battling with them and just sell your program and just sell what you have, then that's really basically the only thing you can do. And that's what our staff was just relentless. We had guys that just kept going and going, and they were not going to take no for an answer. You can't take no for an answer until the paper, until the fax comes across your desk or it goes somewhere else. You can't take no. You just got to keep battling.
Over here on you. Left, John?
Coach, was there ever a concern about not getting a quarterback in this class, and how pleased are you with getting young like Kai?
I don't think we had a concern down there. We're not, because if you think about it, we had one committed for a long time. Then we lost him there, a couple of weeks ago. But even with Kai, when he made his announcement to that he was going to go to FSU, same thing. We kept recruiting him, which you have to do, and we just knew this. We had to get us a quarterback. We had to, because right now you're going into spring ball with only two, and we just knew that we needed another quarterback just to add some depth. And I'm very pleased with him, because Kai's a young man, is very athletic, and a guy that can beat you with his feet as well as throwing the football. But he still has some work to do. Haven't had a chance to really get him here yet to really work with him. But we're pleased with what we have.
Stay over here with Ricky.
Following up a little bit on Kai, is your expectation that he would come in and try to get in the mix to play right away this season?
Well, with only two being there, Ricky, you would figure that you got the two with Tyrone and with Hurd right now, so he'll be in the mix.
Back right, Chip.
Charlie, do you anticipate looking at the grad transfer market, for a quarterback, and what specifically have you said to the recruits about the offense and how it'll change?
Well, when you talk about the grad market, you don't know, because they have to contact us, because you really don't know what's really out there right now in the grad market, and it's got to be someone that's going to fit your needs. And when you talk about just recruits and what we were selling just offensively, if you look in the state right now, most of the offenses are, even 98% of them are spread, and a lot of the young men that come out of these programs are spread. When you look at the skill position, you look at the quarterback position. So what we're just thinking about, we know that we need to open it up some, and I think about you think about the last time within this program that we've had a big time quarterback. I think that may have been Colt, that we won with, but you also think about the skill position, and I think that's what we forget a lot. When you have someone that can win outside, where you can throw the bubble screens, or you can turn around and hand off for the hand sweep, where you can get the guys on the corner, or you can throw a hitch out there and you make a guy miss, then that's where you're knowing that you can get yards and you can take some pressure off the quarterback. But we have to improve at the skill position also, and the quarterback position.
On your left, Ryan.
Charlie, the first play against Notre Dame next year, will DeAndre McNeil be running the ball or catching the ball?
We hadn't decided, right? I don't want to give away that game plan yet. I just want to keep that kind of undercover.
Did you promise him that?
Was it me or another coach?
On your right, Mike.
Charlie, how drastic of a change are you looking from the offense, and with the new coaching hires with Norvell, is he going to kind of feed into that change to the spread?
Well, Mike, we have to tweak it, and we know this. And I think I look at 5 games last season, and we didn't score it was 20 points or less. We know we had to get better, and we had to tweak it some. And you know what? We have a lot of time to sit down as a staff and decide what we're going to do there.
Is Jay going to be part of that change?
Well, the whole offensive staff would be a part of it.
Middle, Kirk.
Do you, at this point, because you're going to incorporate or go with the spread, do you wish you'd used Rod Hurd some last year to get him ready, or is Tyrone Swoop still a chance to start?
I don't know, Kirk, if we just going to completely turn it over to the spread. You just got to make sure that you take your offense, and we just got to build around what we have with our talent pool. And, we're going to make changes, and we know that, with Hurd and with Swoops, they're both going to get a chance to go in and compete.
Middle, Adam.
Coach told us in Houston after the Texas Bowl that this program needed playmakers. In a weird way, did those last 2 games, TCU and Arkansas, help you guys in recruiting, because that was a different pitch to recruits? How did you use those last couple performances?
And that's what you talk about. When you talk about skill guys, you just got to have guys that can win outside. And it's what it is about playmakers. And I know that a lot is placed on the quarterback position, but when you have a guy that can win outside, and even this, you think about within our program, even like last year, you had Harris, but he was one of those receivers that can body up people, but then we were not able just to run away from guys. And that's what you're looking for, some skill where you can run away from guys, and you just hope within this class, and even with the young group of receivers that we already have in place, that we can get that done.
On your left, Cedric.
Coach, I know the social media has opened it up, changed the recruiting game for you guys. allowed you more access. But what kind of challenges and how many headaches do you get from all the social media, kids flipping on Twitter and talking about Asian women and stuff like that?
You know, said social media will be the downfall of society. You know, but it is, and that sometimes that's the only way you can communicate with them is through social media because, you know, phones, they won't answer your phone, but you can direct message them and they'll hit you right back. But it's just amazing how many people just even tied into it, just people that read, you know, the Twitter accounts and Facebook and what's really going on. But it has just really opened it up.
Back middle, William.
Tight ends have really not been a big factor in the passing game around here for quite some time. Do you see Clarendon as being one of those guys that can stretch the field for you for that position?
Well, the thing about Clarendon, he's just long and he has a lot of speed. A guy can play defensive end and play tight end, so you know he's an athlete and he can run away from people. But you're going to have someone that can stretch the field. And then he's one of those guys that's physical enough where he can get down and just knock people off the football.
Back left, Chuck.
Charlie, you made a reference to a power back in the class and Chris Warren. Just looking at him, close to 240 pounds with the bloodlines and everything else. Is he a guy who can come in even as a freshman and see some action? And how do you see him fitting in?
But yeah, the thing about Chris is just a big old strong back, and you look at last year we had a chance to just follow him, and you know it'd be a game of 200 yards, it'd be a game of 300 yards, and it's not, and he didn't have to always run over someone, but he had enough speed and quickness where he can get outside and outrun them. But it's just so hard to say who's going to play right now, but they're going to have a chance to come in and compete.
Middle, Bob.
Coach, on Chris was the coin flip real, and he said he decided on a coin flip between Texas and Washington. And second, on Holton Hill, what's your expectation?
Well, I'm glad that coin flip it came our way. But you look at Holton, and it's a young man that has great size, you know, in that range of 6 foot to 6'1". So you like those tall corners because they can body up the wide receiver. And so when jump balls come, you hope that they can get their body on them and can go up and defend. But a guy can cover, it's long, and you're looking for those long guys instead of the shorter ones. I like big defensive backs because then I know in this that, you know, a guy is physical enough where he can make tackles but also can cover.
Back left, Matt.
Charlie, closing on this class, did it remind you a little of 06 and that class of Florida and the way that had to be the foundational class for your staff there?
Well, you look at the second year has always been that foundation class for you, and we got some outstanding players, and then we were able to close the way we did because not only just, you know, the way I think about our coaching staff and just how hard and how much it meant to them, and just making sure that we had an outstanding class. And I think they took it personal because I think a lot was written about them in the beginning where some people said they couldn't recruit and, you know, they were losing all these guys. But that's why I always say this, February, signing day is the first Wednesday in February. It's, you know, it's good early to get momentum, but you got to sustain it, and then you got to have to be able to carry it late.
On your right, Adam.
Coach, talk about selling the class. You know, last year you came out, you only had 4 or 5 weeks to really go out and recruit. What messages did you use to these recruits this year about maybe what you learned in your first year at Texas?
You know, I'm very simple about when I go in a house, I talk about our mission, and the mission, number one, is see a young man graduate. Number two, we need to go win football games. I told him the standard here is not to go lose 7 games. There would never be what we're looking to get done here. And then a third thing we always talk about, just making them a better person, make them aware of the core values. I talk about that all the time because I know a lot of them, that's how they're raised. And then I just say to them, you have a chance to walk into a program that is the best program in the country, but you have a chance to put your footprint, your handprint on it, and then watch it change, and you'll be a part of that change.
On your left, Brian.
Charlie, I guess it was about 2 weeks ago now, I guess. Gentry decommits, and then the other blows up when Kyler Murray tweeted a photo of the jersey. At that time, you know, no one really knew what was going to happen quarterback-wise. Kyler announces he's going to stick with A&M. At that point, you've got nothing. Are you flying to Baltimore thinking we've got to get Loxley, regardless of what the recruiting sites, some of the recruiting sites have said he could be a receiver, right? Or do you think we've got to get this guy, or what happens in this class then?
No, when you look at it, Brian, we had already said that Loxley was a quarterback, and I know, and he had made a commitment early to Florida State, and not that we had already had that trip scheduled to go to Baltimore. We were going to go see him, whether if he said yes or no. We were coming to Baltimore to see him, and we needed a quarterback because, like you said, we lost Gentry, and then with Kyler saying he's going to stick with his commitment, we needed a quarterback in this class, and so making that trip to Baltimore was big for us, and we had to sell Kai, and he's committed, and then I think Florida State was in there the day before we got there, so we had to go sell it and convince him, this was the right place for him.
Some
Maybe left for Brian.
Some people that have written that he's a receiver. That's wrong.
No, he's playing quarterback for us.
Charlie, there's some reports out there that you've offered a job to Joey McGuire on your staff. Is that accurate? And would you like whoever you hire to also be your special teams coordinator?
I haven't offered a job to anyone to anyone.
When do you think you might?
I don't. We have time. We just want to get through the recruiting process, and then we'll make it. Start worrying about that job.
Back right, Chip.
Charlie, can you talk about the other linebackers in this class? Wheeler and Hager and Townsend?
Well, you start off with Hager, and the thing I like about Brecken is his size. His dad was an unbelievable player here, and then his brother had a great career there at Baylor. And I can remember going in on a home visit and just looking at him and knowing he's going to get bigger, and just he's sitting there just looking at you. You know how you look at someone like you're foaming at the mouth, like give me more, coach, what I need to do. But just knowing this, that we're going to get everything out of him because he's going to come in there working, and it's great that you have someone that had a chance to, growing up, watch this program and know what it's all about, the pride and the tradition within this program. And then you look at Wheeler, is a big backer that can play inside or outside, very athletic. And if you need a guy to sit down in the middle for you, he can do that. But if you need him outside to go rush. And then Cecil Cherry's another big backer inside. You like Cecil because he's a guy that can hunker down. You losing Steve Edmonds, so you have a big backer like Cecil. And then you look at Cameron, and the thing I like about Cameron is a speed guy. A guy can go cover whenever. A lot of times in a nickel package where you need a cover guy, he can go cover, but a guy you need to keep covered up so he can run and go hit the football.
On your left, Ricky.
Charlie, Chris Boyd had said that when he told you he was coming to Texas, that you told him you were going to drop down and knock out some push-ups in celebration. Is that a standard celebration? Are you doing a lot of push-ups this year?
No, I say a lot just to get them excited, but no. No, when Boyd told me that, I said to Boyd, I said, okay, we'll see first, all right? You just talk a lot. I said, you've told me that plenty of times. I've not seen it happen yet. So, but, and then when he came up last week, when he came here on that Friday, that's when we were in Baltimore. And then so when he made the commitment, he called me and says, Coach, I know where you are, but I'm getting ready to have our conference with him and Houghton Hill coming there to do their announcement. But I always said that because he always says a lot. So I just always says things back to him just to get him fired up.
On your right, Mike.
Charlie, compared to a year ago when you were out, you had those 4 weeks to go talk to kids in the state. Did you sense they have more belief in you after a year, or even more doubt after you went 6 and 7? What was the comparison in the way you were greeted by these guys?
Probably more doubt after going 6 and 7, huh? But no, you know what happens within the state is that you have players, and I've always said it, even when I coached at the University of Florida, you have players that want to come to school here. And the only way they do not come here is that we have to somehow, when they get here on a visit, we don't do the right thing for them, where a visit just goes totally bad for them. And so you're going to get those players. Then you have the players that want to go to A&M or go to Baylor or wherever else within the state. But then you have this player who's sitting on the fence. And that's the one you had to sell, the one who's kind of sitting on the fence. And because you kind of know the ones that you're going to get because they're going to come, they're going to get on board with you. But then it's that group that's kind of sitting there. And so they're looking at the program. And so they're trying to decide, do I have an opportunity to go in there and go play? Why do you want me to come to Texas, Coach? What are you selling me? What's so great about Texas? You get those questions, and you got to be ready to answer them. And, but it's those players are what makes recruiting fun, because now this, now you got to go get them. and that's when you see how good a recruiter you are. Can you go get those players and get them to go change their mind?
What is so great about Texas?
What's so great, the academic side of the school, the athletic side, you have a big-time program, the resources are here, and then it's the life afterward. When you do get a degree, you have a chance to go out and be successful in life.
On your left center,
Coach, the kicking game wasn't great last year, but you didn't sign a kicker. What's your philosophy on signing day as far as bringing in kickers? Are you more comfortable with walk-ons or they become scholarship players, or is it a case-by-case basis?
Well, I look at a kicker last year, Cedric, and with Nick Rose, he needs to get better, but he started off as a walk-on. You have a scholarship kicker already with Jordan, so we have 2 kickers in place. It's going to be a battle for them now, and that we have to get better. You're right. We need to get a lot better in the kicking game. Got to protect it so we don't get them blocked, but we have a chance to line up to make them. We need to go make the field goals, and it'll get better because they'll be a lot better. You look at this whole team, better be a lot better than it was last year.
in front, Anwar.
Coach, you gave us the story about Ryan Newsom. Are there any other interesting recruiting stories that you had out of these 28 guys? Any ones that stand out to you?
Yeah, you know what happens when you get a chance to go into homes and you get a chance to be around the families. It's, you know, you get so many stories and you hear so much, and it's unbelievable because everybody wants you to eat, and you can have about 4 meals in one night, and you kind of wore out. And you can say, "Well, I just ate it." Well, look, I cooked, so you can eat at the last house, but you eat in here. So yeah, okay, come on, seriously. Then you get ready, you eat that, then you got to go to the next house, and you scale it down. So I always say, listen, you know, Coach Bedford, he's small. You need to feed him more, you know, or you know, but it's a lot of fun because, you know, with the families, because they're just so happy and they're proud of their family, their sons. But it's you know, I think about stories. You know, it's many of them, but I just can't really just place one in place. Not like the Newsom story.
In the middle, Kirk.
Charlie, do you have enough talent now on your roster to win the Big 12 next year? And how many of these guys are going to play immediately?
Oh no, Kurt, you're trying to put me on the spot, huh? But you know, when you talk about talent on this team, it's, you know, we still have a lot of work to do, and we still have a ways to go, and the number of players who are going to play next year is so hard to say right now.
A lot of these, do you feel like are mature enough and physical enough to help in some way next year?
Well, they're going to get a chance to, and you look at it, once we get them here and get them to move around and take what we have right now, because you would think what we have right now is going to get better because they have another chance to go through the all-season program, so they should be better. So now with this freshman group coming in, it's all about them learning what to do.
On the right, Bob.
Coach PJ made his final decision on Twitter a couple days ago to Oregon. Final decision, I guess, in quotes. What changed? How did you change his mind, and what does a guy like PJ bring immediately?
Well, P.J. Locke was someone that early in the process that we had recruited. And so when he made a commitment to Oregon, you know, that's when we got Jamil. And so we kind of said, okay, we have a safety, he's going there. And Coach, the thing about it in this whole process, you know, Coach Bedford, whenever he went down recruiting to Bowman, he would go by and see him and just say, you know, you never know what's going to happen. And as a young man that grew up, and then when I talk with the story about Texas, he grew up loving the University of Texas. And in his room, there's a banner that says, hook 'em. And so you sit there, it's like, so we lose a young man, and Coach growing up there, he knew a lot of people. And I said, hey, let's take a swing at him. Who knows? I mean, what do we have to lose? They can only say no. We've been told no before. So we made a swing at him. And at first he wasn't interested. Then he thought about it. And that's why you just keep recruiting and just recruit to the ninth hour. But as a young man that can play, it's a position at the safety position where we need some help. And as someone that once he develops is going to turn into a really good player for us.
On your left, Max.
Charlie, obviously you're about to start up with the 16 class here in junior days and all that stuff. Do you feel like to sign guys like Malik and Newsom and very popular players in the state, is that going to help with momentum with this next group and making it so much easier to kind of pitch Texas to the next class of kids?
Well, with the group of guys that we just signed in, they're going to be able to sell the program for us. So we're able to get those, you know, whomever the next top players are in this state. Whenever you get them on campus now, you have some guys that are here that can help you.
On your right, Jeff.
Charlie, you talk about this offensive line class, specifically the ability to get Garrett Thomas and Connor Williams in there midterm and get them in and possibly compete this spring. bringing specifically with Connor Williams, what did you and Whit like about him during the process?
Well, you look at Connor, a big body, and is very athletic. It was played tight end, and now we're going to look him at the tackle position. He's going to put on some weight. I think right now he's at 285, doesn't even look it. But if you get a lineman, like if he's with an offensive lineman, if you could get a tight end or a defensive lineman, then you know they have a lot of skill, very athletic. And then when you look at Garrett, is another big body. It needs to get stronger, but it's great that he's in school right now, so now he's going through winter conditioning. So he's only going to get bigger and stronger for us. And you look at Brandon Hodges and Nicholson, two junior college players that have played. So with them getting into the program, it's all about the linemen just redefining their body, reshaping their body, getting bigger, getting stronger. And because we'll be able, once we get into spring ball, we'll be able to teach them what to do.
Left, right.
Charlie, I apologize if NCAA rules preclude you from answering this, but Matthew Merrick's not on here.
They do preclude.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have another one?
Could you add to this class that you have right now?
We could. I mean, I think I'm sitting there maybe with one or two left, so I could add.
Back right, Chip.
Charlie, a lot of your seniors who just left said this team didn't have enough dog in it. Did you find enough dogs in this class, and how do you determine if a guy's a dog?
I don't know. Were they dogs? No, I don't know. It's all about, you have to build a team, and it's all about the team concept. And a lot of times when things don't go right and you start losing games, and a lot of we're all individuals, and so that start creeping into the program. So there's the individualism creeps in, and so we just got to build a team and just make sure that it's built the right way with good character. I said during the recruiting process, give me character, give me discipline, give me athletic ability. I don't need athletic ability first. I don't need character second. I don't need discipline third. Because what happens when athletic ability becomes first, then it's all about the player. And I don't ever want to make it about the player, because then it's all about him. So when things go bad, he doesn't have a strong enough background, a foundation with character, where he can just be a disciplined player for you. But if you get a guy who has good character from the beginning, then he's going to understand what discipline is all about. Because with athletic ability, he has that. We wouldn't be recruiting him if he didn't have that. But that's what you look for. So, and we had to build that within this team, and we just had to build it, and we had to build and grow together as a football team.
Stay on the right with William.
With Gerard Bird, where is your confidence level in him right now? And throughout these last couple of months, with all the back and forth with the quarterback recruiting, did you see him waver at all? Did you see him come to you and say, "This is my job for the taking"? Did you see any of that fire from him?
Well, I haven't been here just because we've been out recruiting since the last game, but he'll get every opportunity. As well, we're going through winter conditioning right now, so he'll have a chance to, get bigger and stronger. And then when spring ball start up, he'll get that opportunity.
On your left, Brian, last question.
That's what I was going to ask Charlie. Spin off that. Right now, would you say Tyrone is the starter for Notre Dame?
Well, Notre Dame's a long ways away, just like recruiting. Now, Notre Dame is how many months? What is that?
9 months.
Well, say it's at 8. Okay. Wow. Let's not looking for it. I don't want looking for it ahead that much. It's just make sure we get the right guy in there.
Let's go to the back, Craig, for a couple questions.
Hey, Charlie, you talked about the character and the discipline and athletic ability, those things that you want to see out of a young man. And in the midst of all this is drama. There's lots of drama with this, with guys flipping and changing back and all that. And even with what you said about the social media downfall thing, how comfortable are you wading into the middle of all of this, the drama, and having to deal with guys who may change their minds 48 hours out, 24 hours, 1:30 in the morning calls? How comfortable are you with having to surf all of that?
Well, Craig, I just look at, some of them are 17, some of them are 18, they have no idea yet. And that's why I say, just get it to signing day, get their name, their signature, and then fax it in. Then we know for sure we really have them at that point. because they can change their mind at any time. Because you're sitting there last night and you don't ever sleep because you're sitting there and say, okay, tomorrow what fax is not going to come our way and it ends up somewhere else, and you get a phone call and say, oh, I'm sorry, coach, I decided to go elsewhere. But it's all about building that relationship and just feeling like that I know that person well enough. And you really don't, but you feel like you know them well enough where at the end of the day, if they say they're going to do something, they'll do it.
Did you have to stay on any of your coaches to not give up on a kid that maybe you thought was something there, whether or not he had made the final decision or not?
No, I say, and our guys in the recruiting office, they do a great job, and so I would always text Jigs and I say, make sure text the coaches, make sure they call the guys every night. Hey, text them, make sure they call their guys to make sure we're on top of them, because you just tomorrow morning we may wake up and a guy decide to go somewhere else.
One final thing here, coaches like to say how they've met the recruiting needs, you've had needs to fill and that sort of thing. When you compare when you were at Louisville, what you've had to deal with here, does this class meet your needs as well as about any that you had?
Oh, it does, because you look at every position, from the quarterback to the offensive lineman. We talked about, on defense, we need to go get some linebackers. We went and got us some linebackers, defensive backs. But we were able to meet our needs, and now it's all about now where we get them and we can go plug them in.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks.